What's going on, everybody? Billy Rose from Mutation Creation is on the show tonight. I hope that you're doing well. I know that it's been a weird week. Man, it's been an odd week, especially here in America. The last thing I'm going to do is give you any lectures. I promise you, don't turn away. I come here to this place every week for the awesome community and the warm welcome that I've always been given, and I hope that I've extended to everybody. The only thing that I ask is that you leave space, at least in your mind. It's your choice in your heart. That's your choice in your mind to be able to disagree with somebody and still enjoy your time here. That's all I want. That's the only house rule. Otherwise, we get on with a killer show. Billy Rose from Mutation Creation is here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. We got a lot to cover and a short time to get there. What's going on, everybody? It's 8 o'clock on the East Coast. It is 7 o'clock here in Minnesota. The days still aren't getting shorter. It's like sunset literally the other night was at 8:58. And then, it takes a while after that to get dark. For this Florida boy, I'm still getting used to this stuff, but it's beautiful here. I think the high was 81 today. I'll take it. And life is A-okay. I had a great weekend out in Schaumburg this weekend. I did not vend. I went and hung out, and check out the video. I just posted it. I did it with Chris at the Redline shipping booth. I've got a series of those that I recorded this weekend that'll come out. Quick little 8-10 minute videos, but it's great to go to those shows and not vend sometimes. The opportunity for networking, hanging out, camaraderie. Chris talked a lot about that from Epic Style LLC. So check out that video. But big thanks to Redline Shipping and Cold Blooded Cafe. Those two brands have been literally, I can't imagine what would happen that we wouldn't work together. But even if that came, I would always be thankful for what those guys did for me to kick me off and the support they've given. So check out Redline Shipping and Cold Blooded when you get a chance. Cold Blooded Cafe, that is. But they were great hosts this weekend, both of them. And shout out to AJ and Judy from Redline. What a team to be hanging out with and to be stuck with all weekend. It was great. Yeah, check out the YouTube episodes. I meant to do them live, but the upload speed from a hotel internet was just, I did one with AJ that was on there for about 4 minutes. And then I was like, this isn't representative of our brand. So I took that down. Anyhow, yeah, I would check out Schaumburg if you get a chance. It was cool. It felt like Tinley Light. I guess my only hesitation is it feels like in the summertime and before most people's new hatchlings come is a little bit of a tougher time. Then again, if you plan accordingly that way in your mind as a vendor, then it's probably a great show. It was busy. There was a lot of people there. It's a great hotel, man. I bet I could convince my wife to come to the next show if she saw that hotel that we got to stay in. So it was great. This weekend, I'm back home in Bloomington, Minnesota. That's just a suburb where the airport is here in Minneapolis. Snake Discovery Show. I'll be vending that. You local folks, I think it's actually called the Exotic Pet Fair Reptiles Pet Show. It's reptiles only, but it's the Snake Discovery Show. You can find that on their website. I'll be there. Come hang out. It's good. ProperRoyals.com is live. If you haven't been, I would love for you to check it out. I would appreciate you to check it out. First, obviously, I want eyeballs on the product and the project. But I was just talking to Billy, all the feedback I can get is great. Doesn't mean I take it all, but taking it all in and considering it and listening to it, it's a really special project to me, if that means anything to you. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But it's powered by Husbandry Pro. These are literal pros at doing this. So I got to have some say in the design and the look and the feel, but it's powered by Husbandry Pro, and it's a powerful website. So go check it out. And hey, if you like something that you see on there, let me know. If you don't like something, let me know. And if you see an animal, that's cool too. Next week on the show, I got him confirmed. We had to mess around with schedules a whole lot. No fault of his own. But Brian Cusco will be here next week. The summer of just banger episodes just continues. I couldn't be more thankful and grateful to guys like Billy Rose and Brian Cusco coming on the show. The following week will be Billy Rice from Rice Reptiles as well. That's it. That's it for the announcements. We just burn right through them, make it, no waste of time. They used to say with albums, all killer, no filler. Billy Rose is on. Holy smokes, 30 of you. I just looked at the screen right out of the gate. We usually don't, I predict around the 9 o'clock Eastern time hour, we'll hit around 100 people with Billy tonight. But those of you that came early, you're not messing around. Thank you very much. If you're like me, I've been at this 4 years now, 4 and change. Billy was one of the inspirations when I first started. When I remember I went to a reptile show, I was blown away because I had ball pythons in college. And then I see, 20 years later, I see these pieds, I see clowns I'd never seen in my life. I saw albinos and I saw albino pieds that I just couldn't imagine have even existed before. And I start looking for information on just what in the world's going on with ball pythons these days. And I see the prices and I see Billy from Mutation Creation, just the spirit of like the hobby just radiating through. And I was like, who is this guy? And then I would see the egg cuttings. I would see the team, the fun, quality in, quality out. The facility, the logistics of the facility, stuff I get into from a food and beverage doesn't seem like a manufacturing mindset, but it is from a logistics production standpoint and mindset. I was always very, very intrigued. And Billy's been kind enough to support me along the way. He comes to the chats, hangs out. He always answers my message on Instagram when we talk. And for the very first time, Billy Rose is here on Proper Royals Live as the guest. Please welcome to the Proper Royal stage, Billy. What's going on, man?
Not bad. What's going on? Welcome.
I get a little antsy, man. I've been looking forward to this for a long time, and now, boom, here it is. And it's funny because it's not like you're not accessible, man. You're everywhere. You do everything, Billy. I
try. Yeah,
I think you do. Maybe some could say. First, how are you? The last time I saw any update or picture of you, you were in a hospital bed.
Yeah, gallstones. Yeah, that was crazy.
Still pitching husbandry pro from the hospital bed, man.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm sitting there looking and I'm like, I can't leave here until all these tests get done. I spent the night. I thank God when I awoke, I was feeling much better because the night I came in, excruciating pain. So got up, saw the, oh, look, I've got QR code on my bracelet. You know what? I want Husbandry Pro. And then I looked down and I'm like, oh shit, I'm wearing a Husbandry Pro shirt. Well, perfect advertising. And I might as well let everybody know what's going on. So,
did they cut you open or blast them with some lasers or just say, hey, like toughen up, tough guy, pass them up?
No, they ultrasounded me and did some tests, my blood and urine and everything else. And turns out I have gallstones. So I have an appointment on the 29th of this month. So a week Monday. I meet with the surgeon and they're going to go over all the options. But one of the options is to get it removed. And if I ever could possibly, because they didn't get rid of the problem, I still have the stones in my gallbladder. And they could say it could come at any time and you should watch what you eat and do other stuff. And all I know is if I could even have a chance of whatever I went through coming again, I'm not having any part of it. I want the thing out. I don't need it. I'm taking it out. So that's one less thing. Like I'm getting older and other shit's going to happen. I don't need that on top. I don't need to have like a bag of things that could possibly happen down the road. I'm going to start eliminating the stuff from the bag. And that's the first one.
I think that's one of those they do like they suck it out too. I don't even think it's that invasive. Like
no, they said basically it's a day surgery. So, I go in, they do their thing and I leave. So,
Man.
I'm not really sure. I mean, they're gonna tell me a little more on the 29th. Like, well, if we do this, this is what to expect, and this
Yeah, I'm
and
sure
that. You
there's
might
more
have
to
to
it.
take
Yeah.
3 days off of work, or they'll give me all that spiel. But right now, I have no idea. The only idea that I have is I do not want to have any of that shit ever again. I
Never
can't
again on
explain
that
how
other thing.
painful and scary it was.
Well, hey, look, all joking and laughing aside, God bless you, man. I hope I had a chef that he had kidney stones. He was the toughest SOB I ever knew, and that thing would just cripple him, man. And it was just, I could see the misery and the pain on his face through pretty severe drugs too. So, I mean, anyhow, I hope you figure it out. I know you didn't come here to talk about that, but anyway, when you see somebody in a hospital bed,
I mean, it is crazy, but yeah, it's funny because I'm so used to, every day I'm at the facility, I'm doing something. I'm always, I would say 85 to 90% of my day, even when I'm sleeping, is reptile related, business related. It's something. And, here I am like, oh man, like, oh, QR code, Husbandry Pro. I'm like, oh my God, Husbandry Pro. Why not do a post? Like, it's in me, right? It's always the snakes, the business, the communication, the chats, the lives, the community, the vision, everything. It's
right.
nonstop. It's like a way of life almost.
So I thought, on the show, part of the challenge of having somebody like yourself on that's so active and so accessible is, what could I actually bring for any kind of useful content that you haven't already talked about? And a lot of what, rightly so, a lot of what you talk about focuses on the snakes, like you said, the community as well, and the people. But I thought it'd be fun to focus tonight on the business side of it. And one of the most staggering things that occurs to me, I don't know if it does to everybody or even if it's accurate, you're doing everything you do. We Americans see it in America, but you're doing it from Canada, and you're under totally different restrictions. You've had to, am I right that anybody that wants to go beyond hobby in Canada has to figure out how to do it internationally? Is that true or fair, you think, to say?
I would say it's fair. We have a much smaller market, obviously. You guys are 10 times, if not more, the population of Canada. And here in Canada, we, and I say we because I'm Canadian, but we,
Sure.
It's always been like, people don't really want to invest in their business or themselves, and they just would rather sort of keep their hobby as a hobby and not into a business, because either they're scared or
I see.
and so I basically probably, if I had rough numbers, 85 to 90% of my animals are sold in the United States.
Right. That's I was going to ask. I assumed that, but I didn't know that. How early on did you figure out that was going to have to be the case, that it just wasn't going to be the Canadian? And that does not take away anything. I don't know if you know, my mother's from Guelph, so I actually have citizenship as well. But so it's not me knocking anything. I'm trying to paint the accurate picture here. But when did you figure out that was probably going to be your avenue to success?
Well, back in say 2009 to 2010, when I really started to invest money in higher end snakes and ones that weren't readily available up here in Canada, I started making them, and they were like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 range, which back in 2009, 2010 wasn't really much, but up here in Canada, it was like, holy crap, they're high end. Meanwhile, those animals down here selling $60,000, $70,000 bananas, and like, wow, it was just a different level, right? But in Canada, not many people were investing like 5, 6 digits. Well, not 6, but 5 or high mid to low 5 figures on snakes. And then when I saw who was out there, Mark Mandic, Corey Woods, there's people, all over Canada. But it wasn't like, 30 in Ontario, 30 in Manitoba, 30. It was like 1 here, 2 in Alberta, 1, 5 in Canada. And it's like, well, if we only have like maybe 24 big breeders, who in Canada's buying all this stuff?
Right.
And, when I started producing like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 animals, it wasn't like I was producing 30 of them. I was producing maybe 5 to 10. I would keep probably half back and I would put the other 4 or 5 up. And when you have 5 high-end animals, to 10 high-end animals that are, $4 to $10,000 range, it's easy to sell 10 of them in a small market. But now if you have 10 in this project, 10 in this project, 10 in this project, it's like, okay, who's buying these things?
Right, right.
So I started, getting animals into the US in 2014, 15, and really much 16 and up mainstream. Knowing that, hey, I'm producing these animals, I've invested all this money, I'm making amazing stuff, holding the good stuff back, but I still got good stuff. And whatever I could sell in Canada, I'd be like, wow. I started doing Morph Market. And when Morph Market was there, you put stuff up and I'd wake up and I'd have all these messages. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
And it was crazy.
That was what, 2017, is that right? Around that time?
I'd have to look. I think it was 17. I'm one of the founders. I was one of the original people on there. So
yeah,
I've got that little badge saying founding member.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And
it had to have been such a game changer. I wasn't involved at that time, but I mean, it was going from a little bulletin board and magazine classifieds to eBay. I mean, it was just this overnight thing.
It was next level. And, I've had some major, and not only that, worldwide exposure on there. So, not everybody tunes into YouTube. And even back then, I was just starting out. I didn't have, 50, 60,000 followers. It was Mutation Creation. Like, oh, he's made some cool shit. I posted stuff up on socials and, wow, people would share it. And wow, I was making a hit. But, here I am. I wake up one day and I think it was like 5, 6 in the morning. And I get a message and it was from Hong Kong.
Oh,
and they're like, hey, make so many beautiful animals. I'm interested in these things that you have. Can I get a price? And I'm like, oh, and he had like, 9 or 10 animals. I'm like, well, price on what? They're all listed on Morph Market. He goes, on all of them. And I'm like, on all of them?
Okay.
And I'm like, you want a price for all of them? He goes, yes, I'm very serious. And I'm like, wow. So I added them all up and I said 70,000 US. And he's like, okay, bank info, please. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's not even like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't think I woke up. I don't even think I even left the house. I haven't gone and had my breakfast. I don't even think I had a coffee at this point.
You're in your underwear and he's throwing
asking, this guy can't be for real. So I'm like, okay, so it's not like I had it memorized. So I actually had to go look for that paper where you send, here you go. So I sent him all my banking info and the wiring. Sure enough, later that day, fucking 70,000 is in my account. I was like, wow, that's US. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, wow. And that.
Did you even know how to get the snakes to Hong Kong at that point?
Well, that was one of the things what we talked about as that as well, prior to them sending the funds. Okay. I reached out to my exporter at the time. Yeah. And I said, hey, they're like, yep, as long as they have this and that. And I sent that information. It's like, yeah, we have that. I can send that to you. And it was done. And that gentleman, he probably did 3 or 4 shipments with me within the next year and a half, all real high-end stuff. The next one, he bought 3 snakes for 25,000. And then I started asking, it's like, hey, do you got this and you got that? And I'm like, well, I can look. And basically what he was somebody that had a snake business or something, an import-export license for Hong Kong. And he would go and say, hey, if anybody needs anything, I can import it for you. And he would go and say, okay. And he'd send me a list and I'd say, hey, I can fill this. Cool. Give me a price. And then he would tack on something on top as well as his fees, you know? So he would, can you do this? And I'm like, yeah, I can do that kind of deal, and he'd always try to, and every deal afterwards was always like, I want to make more off you. I'm like, no, hey,
So give me the more.
it was great because, you know, I could not reach or even maybe speak some of the language for you know, the people in Hong Kong or wherever he was selling them to. So they could do that. He was the translator. I was still happy with what I was getting. And I don't care if I'm selling to him at a discount and getting my animals out of Canada, you know, and you know,
Right.
putting that into funds so that I can reinvest. And it was great that, you know, I'm glad he was making a profit as well. And, you know, he was probably doing a lot more work. I was just bagging them up and shipping them. He had to go do this, import them, do all the stuff,
Oh,
you know, collect money from the other
sure.
people. But it was nice. And then he's just sort of got out after a while. But it was a great connect. And
this is getting really, really nerdy. I had nothing on that caliber, but I had a little bit of a similar situation with really high-end wines. There was a guy, he just popped out of nowhere one day and was like, I got this much to spend and I want all of these certain kinds of chateaus. If you have them, I don't care what the price is. And turns out he was doing the same broker thing.
Yep.
And one day, almost overnight, I said, I got more. And he goes, we're done. I said, what do you mean we're done? And he goes, the Chinese government said no more of these high showy things, especially from France and Europe anymore. We're done. And that was the last I ever heard of him. Just poof, like smoke in the wind, man. I was like, what happened? And did you ever encounter anything cultural like that? You think he just found another gig that he liked better or another hustle that he was enjoying more?
I believe going back, because the last time I did business with him was probably 2019. So we did a few transactions over a few years.
Yeah.
And I think that some of the animals were going to places like China or Japan or wherever. And I guess, you know, like I said, I was shipping to Hong Kong. Where they go from there, I'm not sure. I have no control.
Right.
What's done with them. But I do think some of the higher end stuff that I was giving were going to some of these other countries where they were putting laws or bylaws into effect or restrictions.
Sure.
And that sort of, you know, when you take the high players that bring you in that extra revenue, is it worth me doing all this stuff to make this little? When I did before, I made a little, made some, you know, some middle, you know, little, some middle, and then the high end stuff. You add it all together. Hey, man, this is definitely worth it. When you take all the, you know, the meat and potatoes away and you're left with this, it's like, you know what? It's not worth it anymore. And I think that's where it went. Or maybe he just lost the passion or someone screwed him over for, you know,
Sure.
Yeah, I'll buy the animal. You know, you have a deposit, I'll buy it. And then when I get it, pay me. Yeah. And then they don't pay. Now he's stuck. I'm not really sure. We never got into it like that. And there was a translation barrier, you know, so I don't know, but it was great when it lasted a while. It lasted.
Right.
And, you know,
like
that really showed me it's like, hey, you know, you produce great stuff and high end stuff that's not as readily available. People want it, and you need to be out there. You need to be on Morph Market. You need to have a social media account and post and show the world what you have and what you're making and what you're about, and people see it and recognize it. And you know, like I said, I woke up. It was like 5, 6 in the morning. And here I have like someone like, how much for everything? I'm like, yeah. I mean, in Canada, that was $100,000 sale.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, you know, so it's out there. You just got to be. And even now, I'm guilty of this now. I have so many animals for sale that I have not posted because I just don't have the time. And there's so many other things. I'm starting to do it. But how do people know to contact me for something? And, you know, you don't want to be that person like, hey, I know you're busy, but do you have this, and this? Because most of the time, you know, a person is doing the business properly like I should be. No one's going to call and message someone's like, hey, do you have this? It's like, dude, if I had it, it'd be listed already, you know? Yeah, and you get that when you knock on 9 doors and 9 of them say that, it's like, you don't want to knock on the 10th. So, and then I've seen this also. I'll post a bunch of shit. Like, you know, a month later and people are like, oh, dude, I just bought 2 of those. I wish I knew you had them because I would have bought them from you at that price. Or, you know, I mean, oh, you should have asked. It's like, dude, I get it. So there's a lot of work even at my level that I need to do and get on top. And, what we did today, and we're going to do it tomorrow, is every single animal that I have for sale, plus some others, are being weighed. So once a month, we are going to, I have people coming in, and they spend 2-3 days and they weigh every single animal to keep every monthly updated. That's one thing I'm going to start as of now, to consistently be something that is a priority at Mutation Creation.
Talk to us about, well, I had one other question from the last thing, but maybe
Sure.
it's quick. And we no rush either way. Do you see where are you excited? What like emerging markets are you excited for? So that Asian market was kind of came out as a surprise. Has there been other similar examples, or are there markets that you're targeting, or that you don't want to talk about?
No. I mean, I had a lot of animals go into the UK before Brexit. UK was probably, another Europe. Europe, I had a lot of animals go to. Thing is, with Brexit and all this, and then just the cost, and I had to ship it to a broker here, to ship it to a broker there, and then they have to. And Europe is a way different animal. When I ship to the United States, it could be shipped next day to any hub. In Europe, right, you can't just ship it FedEx to Italy and then they can go pick it up, or France. Like, a lot of these places, they don't have like FedEx drivers driving all over Italy. And that's why these big expos like Ham and Houghton and Verona, it's better to have everybody go and just meet, to do the swaps and the trades and the pickups, because they're going there to do more than just pick up their snakes. They're seeing other vendors, socializing, getting away, being at this big event. It's a lot easier to do that than trying to figure a way to get your animal from Germany to Czechoslovakia, you know what I mean? Or Poland, or wherever, right? You don't have the infrastructure like we do here in North America.
Yeah, I think we forget too, like how massive, well, particularly Canada. Canada is particularly massive, but how massive the United States is. Like, if people imagined that every time they drove to a different state, there was customs inspections, a different set of laws, and a different postal system.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, but that's what it is in Europe.
In Europe, it's totally different. And a lot of these, they're very strict in their laws, and some places all the animals have to be microchipped. Some you cannot have any animal in a rack. You've got to, like, there's so many different rules and stipulations depending on where you are. And sometimes, like, there's some that you can't even. So if you're here, okay, and you buy the animal here, and you here, and there's one or two other places that you can't go through, because if you go through with that animal, it's illegal. They actually, instead of doing a 7-hour drive, they do an 18-hour drive around. It's or some people take the chance and the risk.
Yeah, they go.
It's like that there. It's not the same. So, but it was a great market, and I love seeing my animals over there. I still see people messaging me, making stuff. There's a few great breeders out there making awesome stuff with my stock from way back in the day, but it's just not as easy to do that anymore. And with Brexit, where I get it into the US, I mean, I get it from here into Europe. Now, Europe, they still need CITES to get it into the UK. Now, there are channels going direct from the US to the UK, and I believe there's another channel. If not, I'll be working on that from Canada right into the UK. I do have my own line now from here into Europe. I have a shipment going out probably next month as well. So I've got all that, and I am looking for Japan. I am looking for Indonesia. I've got, a bunch of animals going to the Philippines. That's another place I want to sort of, work with and work into, is the Philippines and those type of markets. So,
man, that's exciting. And it's like, I think and this is any industry, but we can get these little like blinders on, or we can feel like we're accomplishing or not accomplishing things. And we forget that there's just like There's the power of the internet. There's the power of going, okay, how does all this stuff from factories in China get here? Why can't I do the reverse? Not that any of us want to be a factory, but we can look bigger. We don't think to think so big. And that I think that's always been something infectious about you as well. Is like, well, if they're doing it, or screw if nobody's doing it, I'll figure out how to do it. And that's like, something I enjoy. I really like that, man. That's
I mean, it's something where, like, I've taken a lot of chances. Not every investment or everything I've always done has been a home run, but I'll take something from every experience I've done, whether it's positive or negative.
That's right.
And use it and put that in my bag of tricks or my knowledge bank. So when I do something else, I can sort of utilize that for better on the next.
Yep. And, I think there's always knowledge to be gained, whether it's a perfect thing or a total disaster. You're going to learn from it. Definitely. Sometimes it's more expensive the other way, but you're going to learn.
Is. Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So, okay. So the other topic I was earlier that we steered away from that I was going to go to, tell us about the team. I mean, we all know Austin, we all know Lion, but tell us about the team at Mutation Creation, because like you say, I mean, I think we all realize it, but there's got to be shipping, there's got to be marketing, there's got to be people posting things. You said you got people coming in just to weigh animals. How does all of that look? How do you formulate all of that?
Yeah. So, the last 4 or 5 years, well, the last 2 years been sort of rough. It's not, for lower end breeders, mid breeders, big breeders, hobbyists, for fuck's sakes, everybody feeling it like, wow, I'm just going to take this, make some animals, sell them off, and holy shit, nobody even wants these. I can't even give them away.
It's a grind. Yeah.
Everyone is getting affected. So there's a lot of things that, I'm changing. There's a lot of changes coming to MC, and we'll be sharing that, sooner than later. I'm getting into a lot of different other, areas, and different species, and sort of, instead of keep turning the ball python into an ever expanding thing like I've done for many, many years, I've found a way to do that with other people's help, as well as sort of, be, smaller, but really more higher end. I really like the higher end game. I'm getting a little too old to do all these expos and stuff.
Sure.
If I do expos, I'd rather just be there, greeting people, shaking hands, taking pictures, talking, promoting Husbandry Pro, selling the Gopher Cocoa, instead of trying to, and our shows aren't like your shows, except for our big CRBE, which is in September. Most of the shows are just like your normal, shows, like the smaller end shows. They're not 2-day shows. It's a 1-day show from 10 to 4. And sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't, but you got to have that lower end sort of, price pointed animals.
Yep.
I don't really want to house them and make those. I'm trying to have it where, like, if I can make snakes, and not under 2,000 and up, I'm good with that. I don't really want to make, and now, like, anything under $1,000, I'm pretty much going to wholesale. I just don't have the time to house, to keep, and stuff like that. And I'm not really trying to do that. And to go and set up and house, feed, get them established, go and vend. It takes a lot out of you. Anyone that vends knows it's a long day. It's days to, beforehand to prep. It's days after the expo to unpack and get everything ready and do your routines and whatever you do.
Cleaning back up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that 1 or 2 days at an expo is like a week. You know what I mean? And then, up here we have the same expo almost like every 4 weeks, every 5 weeks. And it's like, and you can't really not go because, one could be amazing. And, I didn't go to that one. Then I'm going to go to the next one because the last one was amazing. And then it's like, this one was dead. You never know. Right. So, you don't buy a lottery ticket knowing you're winning. You buy it because it gives you an opportunity to win. So, without buying it, you're going to lose. So, but I'm just getting, it's just a little too much for me. And I don't enjoy it as much vending, and a lot of the times too, I'll do a show just like I said, to go and meet people. Plus, money's money. If I can sell some animals I don't need and make money, I don't really lose at an expo. But it's still positive. But I'll do $30,000 or $40,000 4 or 5 days in sales. And then 2 days later, I got to go and set up and to make $4,000. I'm like, I don't even need to do it, but I do it. So
I got you.
I would rather go and just represent, Mutation Creation, Husbandry Pro, go for Coco, walk around, do what I love, talk to people, and don't necessarily have to sell the low end animals because I don't even want to produce them. Yeah. So that's a mindset I'm trying to sort of veer into, where, and for many, many years, I've enjoyed doing them and they were great, but that bubble sort of burst, and I'm never going to complain. Oh, I'm going to go and make $20,000 this Sunday. Oh, you're complaining. Yeah, but it takes about 2 days to do. Like you're whining over 20 grand in a fucking day, whether it's 2 days before and 2 days.
Most of us dream of that, right?
Yeah. But now that 20K, 16, 15, $20,000 day is $2,000 to $3,000.
Yeah.
With the same expense, same time constraint, and it's just not the same, and then, I'm trying to do it where I like the online. I like doing stuff, and shipping and getting it out of the country and working with people all over the world. And those animals that sell over the world don't really sell here. Now there are a lot, and thankfully, I guess, because of Patreons, people investing and believing in some of us and seeing what other people are doing. They've invested in high-end animals and they're like, wow, I'm actually making a profit. Wow, let me do it again. And if they do it right, they're going to make money. Yeah. And then they can actually say, okay, well, I'm actually making money. Now let me find a project. Let me really go heavily into it with the knowledge I have, and let me see, I've got proof of concept. I can make these things. I breed ball pythons. I've had some, experience. Now I've got some higher end investments that's paid off. Now let me use everything in my arsenal and really, give it my all, throw some good investment in, really have the support of the community and people from a mentor or a Patreon or whatever like that. And now let's do it. And it's just like, holy moly, look at it. And if you continue to do that same success with knowing when to purchase, how to build the group, not be all over the place, half-assed. I call it a breeder 1. You want to be at least a breeder 2 or a breeder 3 level. You see everything. All you got to do is put the work and the time in, and it's amazing. You get to make amazing animals. You get to hold them back. You get to create, pleasure and animals for other people, because I get so many, hey, Billy, that animal you sold me just laid eggs. Hey, Billy, I got that animal shed tested. She proved out het. I fucking love that shit. You know what I mean? It's awesome.
I got, and it's like I have nearly any kind of the experience you do, but I just got an email. The guy I hadn't heard from in a long time, and he texted me. It was yesterday. He goes, hey, it was like a pastel yellow belly or something. He's like, that pastel yellow belly, she gave me 10 eggs, man, my first clutch ever. And he's like, and in my mind, I'm like, 10 eggs? I'd have made highways with her if I knew that.
No, it's awesome because, I've always had my own business. I've always been, an entrepreneur. I've done pretty well. And money's great, but it's always there. Like when you make money, it's like, great, but you make money to invest or to spend it. Right. When you get a message saying, hey, Billy, like, I love your YouTube videos. Thanks for putting that video out, that untangling of the umbilical cord. It saved my animal. Yeah. There's no better feel. Like, money's great, but it's a different type of feel. Like, oh my God, like, wow, I got, thank yous, people's lives I've changed, they've stop doing this and stop doing that, and they've concentrated like this, and they're working with their kids, and they're putting in, and now they've got a bond with their kid, and they've changed their life, and they've been sober for 9 months, and all because of an inspiration or a video or something. Like, it's like, how the fuck can you put a dollar amount on that?
Right.
I mean, that little fucking message, I'm like, oh my God, like, wow, this is incredible. I could have a $50,000 sale, within an hour later. It'll be great, but it's not going to be the same feeling I got from that fucking email or that message, man.
And you never know what that little thing's, you never know what that little thing's going to be either. Like, that's what I love, is you just like open and honest. You never know what that one thing's going to be that clicks with somebody or makes them go, aha, or was there missing piece, that was just like, oh, that's all that I needed,
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And like, even when I do shout outs or anything like that, people message me, hey man, you made my day. Fuck, it's so easy to be positive and do the stupidest, littlest shit to change someone's day. And I can say how easy it is. I just, I've taken a long time, and I've gone through a lot to get to where I'm at. It wasn't easy. I'm here because of a lot of other people as well. I couldn't be here without my team and people that have worked for me in the past, and, all this stuff. But for me to where I am today, all I got to do is look at someone's profile, follow, like a post. Oh my God, Billy Rose, Mutation Creation followed me. This made my week. Oh my God. Like, just for me doing something like or follow makes this blows this person away. And it's great because I'm not doing it for like, I'm doing it because, hey, here's some cool stuff. Wow. Let me like it. And, there's a lot of people that reach out to me and say, hey, will you give me a follow? And I'm like, oh, let me look, cause I'm not on there always going. And I look and I'm like, you got 3 posts, man. And it's not even reptiles.
Do some work.
Why the fuck am I following you, dude? Put some more work in, man.
Right.
But I do it genuinely. I'm not sitting there the guy that just goes and, oh, I gotta like 40 pages today. Like I don't have fucking time for that. It comes genuine. Just like when I come on your, I know the time you're on. I know, Snakes and the Fat Man, Chris. I love the guy. I know when his things, if I don't have the time, I can't go on, but when I do, I know that's appreciated. Just like yourself. You've seen me come on and I'll comment.
Absolutely.
And then, a phone rings. I'm like, fuck, I got to answer this. I gotta go. But I always try to come back and I try to listen. And, when I go on road trips or, if I'm at the airport, and when I go international, I have to be there 3 fucking hours before the flight. So I just put on this and I'm watching, all the reruns of Snakes and the Fat Man, or, some of the guests that are on, oh my God. Not the car. Snake Trap. Yeah. He's got so many.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The trap talk.
Trap talk. Yeah.
Right.
So MJ, but I'm trying to think. Snake Trap, because and it's funny because I think he's got like so many different ones.
He's got like a network,
MJ, Snake Cartel, and then it's like Snakes, the Trap Talk, and but I'll go over because he has a lot of amazing guests, which are friend of mine or people that I'm interested in, and a lot of these new species, and that's one thing that I think he's got down on lock is I'm into new species now. Right now, everybody I follow is all fucking ball python people.
Yeah.
And now I want to learn about this. I want to learn about that. And MJ's got like, you name the fucking species, he's got guests on and the top breeders of that and the people that are in it. And it's awesome because I'll go on and like, holy moly, I want to listen to this person, and I always learn a little bit and learn about them. And, when I have time, I get to learn a little bit about that species that I want to get into or I've always been interested in. It's pretty cool.
Talk more about that. Something I always find with successful entrepreneurs is that they are exhaustively thirsty for more knowledge and more education. Like, we would think rationally, if you're the expert, you know it, you know what you're doing. Obviously, you know what you're doing. But then I always hear, like, I've been really fortunate in my life to work for some billionaires, work around incredibly successful people, and endlessly. I remember the billionaire one day. He's always the first guy in the coffee shop in the morning. I walk in, he's reading a book this thick about Microsoft Excel. Could you imagine reading that? Like, this guy could he could probably buy Microsoft. He could buy, I mean, I don't know if he's got that much money, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's like that thirst for knowledge, man. And it seems like you have that same sort of,
I do, because
what else
I mean,
is there?
having ADHD and everything else that I'm pretty much been diagnosed with, I need to keep busy. I need to keep active. I need my brain to keep thinking. And I've got a lot of stuff. And even sometimes I get sidetracked. I know the last few years I've been sidetracked and doing things. And, now I'm just trying to tighten things up and be more effective and productive. And, I've got so much on my plate. That's why, like, some of the videos that for YouTube, it's sort of slowed down, because I've got so many other things that I want to sort of, be more efficient at and tweak and be more successful at. And I've had to say, hey, this is number 1, 2, 3. And then whatever's, once I get that sort of tackled, then I can start going down to the stuff that's lower on the list.
Right.
But, I do like to learn new things. I like to change. Like, you see and hear people do things different ways. And I'm like, you know what? Let me try the incubation without substrate. Let me do the water. And I really enjoy it so far. Yeah. To the point where I think I'm always going to do it. So,
okay.
I've been doing that now. I'm probably 50 clutches in. It's the mess isn't there. It's a lot easier. I like how we take the tray out, we cut the eggs, we use the same water, we just add some cocoa in, and then we put the eggs right into the cocoa, and it's working out well. It's cost effective. It's very easy to clean. I'm using a product that I already have abundance of, and those animals are going to be on that, for the rest of their lives anyways. You might as well come out of the egg on it. And I've heard people say that, and I'm like, it makes sense. Let me try it. And I finally did. And I'm very happy that I did so far. Right. I mean, we'll see at the end of the year.
Take us through that again. So you're doing water and the egg tray.
Yeah. So right now we put like a 1/4 inch of water, and then we put the Easy Hatch tray, or Dragon Hatch. I use Dragon Hatch.
Okay.
We put the tray in, and we put the eggs right on top of the tray and just put it right in the incubator.
Oh, but no cocoa in the incubator.
No. So basically what happens is, so then what happens is we incubate, and then once we go and we take the eggs out and they're ready to cut, we take the tray out of the water.
Yep.
Then we just put the cocoa right in the water.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So that cocoa now absorbs the water. It gives a bed so that the snakes aren't laying in water or anything soaked.
Yeah.
So then what we do is, and the gopher cocoa that I have and sell and am the distributor for in North America, it absorbs all that water. It's awesome, and it can absorb more. I mean, it's such a such a great product. And we put that, and it absorbs all the water. And then we cut the eggs and put the eggs right back.
I got you.
We have a nice tray that has a little bit of, I guess, water residue, and when it dries or gets a little scummy, but you just rinse it and it's gone.
Minerals,
you don't have all these little fucking flakes from
it gets in the sink everywhere. Yeah,
and it's all over your hands. Like, what the hell? I've come home sometimes. It's like, why do you have glitter all over your shirt? What do you mean? So we at the strip club? No, I was at the fucking incubator. Like, getting in shit for stuff that you're like, what the fuck? You got it on your face because it goes everywhere, that stuff.
It does.
And then when
I'm afraid of breathing it in. Yeah.
Yeah. And even breathing it in, I used to do this.
Yeah.
You get a scoop, a 16-ounce cup, and you're scooping it like this. So you're not breathing that shit in. Yeah. And it goes like, it's crazy. So I eliminate all that. And when I buy it, I buy like 5-6 bags at a time. And, it takes up like 3 feet by 19 or 20 inches by, 5 feet high. Real estate, and then you got to cut it, and it gets messy. And I just decided, hey, let's try this because it's the water that's needed. I was actually going to go to use sponges because I know a lot of people have used sponges, and I'm like, then I got to go to Dollarama, get sponges, and then I'm sure it stinks, and you got to wash them. why don't I just use water and a tray? And I
Yeah.
did, and I'm so happy with the process so far. Much
Nice.
easier, much cleaner. You know, because my animals now, the cocoa, when they come out and move around the cocoa ain't gonna, the chunks aren't gonna stick to them. In the vermiculite, man, they're covered in that shit.
Yeah, and then you have to bathe them, and it gets in the sink and all of that.
Wipe them and just it's so. I've done it for the first time. I see so many more benefits from it. I like it, and if I do, I'm going to continue, and that's how I'm going to do it from now on. But I'm the type of person to try things and see for myself if I like it or not. And at least if I do this and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to go back, I don't like it as much. People can ask me, hey, you know, what do you think's better? And I'm like, well, I've done this, I've done that, and I've done this. And you know what? I like this, but I like this more because of this, and this I didn't like at all. I can literally respond with some, you know, experience and some knowledge firsthand, not you know, regurgitating shit that I heard from 3 other people. And I think that's why, you know, and I like to explain why I do this. You know, I don't just say, hey, I do this. Why? Because I like it. Okay. Yeah. You know, and people, I want to give people a reason why I'm choosing this over that, and giving them my options. And maybe somebody might say, hey, you know what? I actually like that part. Okay, then do it. And you know what? We can do everything. So many people do things so differently in this industry. Right. They're still successful. So there's no one and only right way. It's the way that you feel comfortable for you and your snakes and what you believe and what you want to do. And if you don't want to do what someone else does, then don't. And no one should be forcing you to do something their way. It's just ridiculous if they are.
And exhausting. And like,
yeah.
I guess I had to tell myself sometimes, like, oh, I guess that means you're doing good things, Adam, because they will spew their opinions at me. And I'm like, I'm pretty low key. Like, I don't even think I pissed that many people off. And I certainly didn't think that I did. And man, they're out there. Hey, heading into the top of the hour, Billy, do you think something that occurred to me? You're so hands-on, and that's probably the magic in what you do, but you have so much going on. Do you ever see yourself adopting more of a CEO overseer mentality versus, man, you're in the weeds, man. And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like,
no,
I mean, you're in there doing it.
It's like, you know, depending on, so there's a lot of things that are on the table. And, you know, I've talked to my team and I like, hey, this is what's on the table. This is where I want to go. If you're coming with me, great. Then, you know, I want to know if you want to go this route with me. If you don't, I might not take on this whole new division. So I don't just do shit and say, hey, I'm going to do it. Fuck what you have, what everyone else thinks. I sort of, you know, want to, and I'll give you an example. I had a bunch of hog nose that I invested in years ago, and I was helping out a friend, you know, investing with his, and he would do it, and he just had a bunch of you know, life hit him in the face, lost the job, had to relocate, and you know, separated from his marriage, and you know, shit hit him in the fan. And if you don't cycle these or brumate them and do this, I mean, it's a different ball game than ball pythons, right? You can't, you know, ball pythons, you can just throw an animal in, do this, and you just get eggs, you know? Yeah. You know, here you got to brumate them, you got to feed them, you got to do this, and you got that little window. And if you don't do that or feed them right, you know, they're not going to do it. It's not like a ball python. Ball pythons are fucking easy to breed, and it just
eat each other too, right? Like
they can, yeah. So you got oh yeah. I mean, they can eat each other, and it's pretty crazy. So you breed them, you put them together. You got to watch on them because they could be breeding, and the female may eat the male.
So it's horribly inefficient. Like,
it is really crazy. Yeah. And so I got that, and I'm like, hey, I got some king snakes, I got some other milk snakes, you know. And, you know, tangerine Honduran milks and hypo and really some cool stuff, gray banded kings. And, you know, Austin doesn't like colubrids. He likes the big pythons and the boas and, retics. Doesn't like them, doesn't like the way they look, doesn't like the head, doesn't like how they're and I got them because I wanted to try something new and get my investment back and try to, hey, let me try it, learn stuff. And, they're a lot different than a ball python. They have to be fed differently. They got to use different substrate. They got to be more, fed more, cleaned more. The stench, they also spray.
Oh, they're the musk or whatever. Yeah.
So like, wow. And when they bite you, it's not like a ball python. They go and they go on or they latch. It's like, Jesus Christ, like this one ain't letting go. It's totally different. And I don't mind it because I'm learning. But guess what? If I go away or I'm not in, no one, and I don't want to say, hey, Austin, I know you don't like these things, but you've got to fucking feed them. You've got to clean them. You've got to do this, and I don't feel comfortable, moving forward with that, making someone do that. Something that I know isn't comfortable. And, my daughter is into the geckos and helps me with that and the rodents and even ultrasounding. She'll touch the snakes. She's never been bit. I think she has been bit actually, but, bit. And I don't want her going in to do something that's like really different. And
sure,
so I have to look at, even if I wanted to pursue it, I'm just not ready to do it. And with if I wanted to do it, I would bring someone in that was experienced and do it that way. So that was something I'm sort of moving away from now. I've sold quite a few of them. I still got some left. I'm moving out of that. And, because, my team doesn't want anything to do with it. And I don't want to say, hey, it's my shit. You work for me, fucking do it. So that's something that I'm moving away from, but there's other things that I want to do and get into. But if my team doesn't want to do it or doesn't want to have the time, or, like I said, there's a lot of shit on the table. Once I get back, and it'll probably be, this week, once I get feedback, I'm going to know, okay, now I know this is what I'm doing. This is where we're going with this. This is what we're doing here. This is what I'm doing on my own. And I can make those decisions. Yeah. So, I mean, it's tough being hands-on. Austin, runs and manages the adults, we talk about the pairings and stuff, but he manages that room. I've got Jeff. He does all my hatchlings and holdbacks. I've got people coming in on the weekend, part-time people that help me with the rodents and cleaning. And I've got some new people coming on, like I said, to help me, maybe 2 days a week to do stuff that's not, cleaning or feeding snakes, more of helping me with Husbandry Pro, manage the collection, maybe take pictures or stuff.
Pictures updating. Yeah.
So many things like that. I had Alex from Chroma Flux for a while. And, when everything was great, money was awesome. It was like, hey, everybody was full time. And then it's like, hey, so guess what? You got to go down to part-time, and then, part-time, it's like, well, hey, I got to look for a full-time job. So when they find a full-time job, So, unfortunately, I wish I was making money hand over fist and I could pay everybody what they want but that's not reality. So, they've had to go do things elsewhere, and, it's unfortunate, but that's just how it is.
Right.
And now I do all the paying. I do all of the, the managerial stuff, the banking. I do all the Patreon, all the live streams. I do all the, sort of the back end stuff. I'm there also doing all the rodents. That's something that I've been doing now for a year, breeding the rodents and cleaning and caring for them and stuff like that. Now we just got a new rat facility that I'm doing it with someone else, and we're expanding that. So there's a lot of new things that I'm doing, and it's exciting, but it's time consuming, right? Very much time consuming.
I think it's a neat point, and I experienced it definitely in my career, especially managing chefs, managing several restaurants. I could have all the most amazing ideas in the world. If the team wasn't bought into it, we weren't going to go do it. Or the other thing too, I had to find was that I had to yield sometimes. There were things that I really wanted to do or really didn't want to do, but I saw the passion and the joy that it was going to bring to the chef, and an inspired chef or an inspired worker or a happy colleague is going to bring such a value to our end product. And I thought that was a really, really great point that you brought up of you got to bring the team in, no matter how, I mean, you're Billy fucking Rose, man. You do what you want, man. But no, you gotta have your team with you.
Yeah, and I mean, I've made, you know, over the last 2-3 years, I've made a lot of mistakes. You know, I wish I diversified into different species 3 years ago, not just the last year. I wish I got into my own production of rodents many years ago instead of just a year ago. So I've made a lot of mistakes, and now I'm actually starting to change those mistakes into, you know, it's always like getting into a project. Oh, you know, I'll wait till next year to get it. And it's like, oh, fuck, I should have got into it last year. It's the same shit with everything.
Yeah, right.
Stop fucking putting shit off and do it. You will never regret it if you know what you're doing and you do it right. Yep. You will never regret it. You're going to regret not doing it earlier. And that's the same thing. You know, even stocks, you know, oh, I got into, you know, what's the big one?
NVIDIA?
No. Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, yeah.
I got in at 19,000. I should have got in at $15. Yeah, of course you should have. It's like fucking everything.
That's
you know
everything. Yeah, like, right. Yeah.
Of course, where everyone's gonna say that. You know, oh, I should have bought Apple when it was $1. You know, I should have got into Tesla when it was fucking $10. Yeah, we can all say that on everything. We should have did this. We should have did that. You know what? Instead of saying that down the road, fucking do shit now. Yeah. You know, and that's the thing that I regret, because everything that I'm doing now, I'm saying, fuck, I wish I did that earlier. Why did I do that? This unicity. We're looking at my health, getting, I wish my buddy 6 months before I got on this shit, I should, you know, he's bugging me. Like, come on, Billy, you got to try it. Got to try it. Nah. I finally did it because the doctors, they weighed me. They measured my waist. Day after surgery, he comes in and says, man, you got a lot of visceral fat, you know? And I'm like, wow, got on this. Yeah. Love this stuff. 4 months. It's changed my life. You know, I'm so happy. Wish I did it 6 months ago. I'd probably be even healthier. But that's the thing. You always wish you did things if you do things that are good for you and you do it right. And it's not, you know, and the thing is I have a lot of things like, if I did what I've done in the last year, 2-3 years ago, man, would I be in so much better of a spot, you know? And now it's like, hey, you know, this is what I want to do. This is what I got to do. But diversifying, especially now, like the ball python market's so strong and great. Yeah. Well, guess what? It crashed a little. It'll bounce back. It's still there. It's still doing fine. But, you know, diversification, you know, having a lot more things on the go. And to your question about letting, you know, other people do a lot of my shit, you know, my Patreon is me. It's, you know,
that's true.
I can't
scale yourself.
Pawn it off to someone else. It's
of course
not.
You
know, the reason why people are on it is because of me and my time and what I give and what I, you know, now I have a lot of awesome people that I'm working with now to tune it up a notch. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I definitely need, you know, more help. Like, you know, my daughter's taking care of the geckos and some of the other chores, which helps. You know, Austin does that and other things that if I need. But moving forward with the stuff that I want to do, you know, I've got it all on the table. Hey, where do you want to go? What do you want to be involved in? You know, and whatever they come back, I've got to make the decision.
Right.
You know,
right. Yeah.
So guess what? I'm going to take this all on myself, or I got everybody with me. Now, do I want to take it all on myself because no one else wants to come? Do I have that in me? You know, so there's a lot of things within the next couple of weeks I have to decide and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make a choice and do it with or without you. Or, hey, you know what? I don't have it in me. So if it's not with you, I'm not doing it. And you know, that's how I'm moving forward. And there could be some major changes coming depending on the feedback I get back. But, you know, even in my personal life, there's going to be a lot of, you know, changes. So I'm not getting any younger. I'm looking after my health, but not as great as I want. but I've got a lot of things, and I've been focused, and I don't have a lot more time to make mistakes and bounce back. Now I want to say, hey, let me think about it. Let's put it on the table.
Let's get it right
and make those decisions accordingly. And if it's not going to surprise me if this blew up in my face. Well, of course it did. Look, I know where I'm moving and how I'm moving with where I've been and how I've got to where I am and with the people that I am. So that I have. So, once I sort of know, I will make those correct decisions, move faster with, or maybe pull back and do other things, diversify here and not do this. That's going to be coming soon. But you can never get, too many different lines of income,
Yeah. Well, and I want to ask you about some of that too, actually. And I need to take just a couple minutes. Speaking of lines of income, I got to take care of some of these lines of income above and below us real fast here, Billy. So sit tight for just a second. Yeah, get you some little refill there. Keep yourself going. Guys, check out Redline Shipping. As I said at the top of the hour, they're the host at Schaumburg this weekend for me. It was a fantastic crew. But listen, it's not just how they treat me. It's how they treat their whole customers. Their customer service is excellent, and it's a culture of excellence. I hung out with AJ and Judy, talk about people that run the show behind the shadow of Robin, and they are amazing, and their experience is fantastic. They're going to take care of your animals. They're going to help you take great care of your animals, and they're going to get them where they're going. Check out Redline Shipping. Use the promo code PROPER5 for an extra $5 off your next shipping order. Gray Rider Reptiles, that is Charlie, and he is also shedtesting.com. That's all one brand. Shedtesting.com is all you got to remember, though. Talk about a disruptor, talk about somebody that always wants to learn, talk about somebody that's looking out for customers, and his service is absolutely phenomenal. Stellar. He works incredibly hard, man. Like, he's up there with, anyway, Charlie works so hard. And I don't know if I've told this story before. It's not a long story, but when that spot of I call those the banner ads, when that banner ad came open, I didn't wait to see who wanted it. I said, who do I want to work with? And I knew Charlie's story, and I wanted to be part of it somehow. And I went and pitched that spot to him, and we worked out a deal that made sense for both of us. But I'm so proud of what he's doing. Go check it out for yourself. He's going to give you 15% off of 2 orders. You can order as many individual tests as you want and get 15% off 2 times. Use a promo code PROPER15 on that. Robbie is Argen Reptiles. Robbie is working with DG, Pied, and Clown, and Dark Genes. If you're into doubles, triples, visual hets with Dark Genes like Blackhead and Stranger, and the DG, Pied, and Clown project, go check them out. And everybody's getting hatchlings, so I have notes all over the place. Robbie just hatched double het zebra clown combos with codoms in them. If you go to his website and you sign up for the email list, you're going to get first dibs on clutches like that. All his clutches are second half of the year. They've started now. So he's got a double het zebra clown clutch ready to go, ready to talk business on. Portuguese pythons, they just vended the LA Pet Fair. Danny and Renee Rocha. I'm so frustrated. I've met them in person, not in person on shows, but I never got to meet them in person. But they're just such great people. I talked to them this week because I was worried about the wildfires out there and just wanted to know how they were doing and their animals and that stuff. And even with all that going on in the heat, we still just hung out and chatted for a little while. They're great people. They just had a super blackhead ultramel clutch hatch. You can check that out on Instagram and Morph Market. And I've got a 1.3 of Ultramel Pied combos from them that I'll be producing Ultramel Pied combos in the future with, which I'm just so happy to be a part of that project with them. Ultramel, that's right. It's there. Ball Labs, also, that is Trevor in Aurora, Colorado, another great guy. Trevor likes to breed anything and everything. I should have made a list of genes that he works with, Billy, just so I could hear you go, what the fuck is that? If you are looking for something, I bet Trevor has it. He posted something the other day that he said was a fader bling combination. I never heard of fader or bling, but he's got it. If those are your kinds of morphs, go check it out. But also on top of that, he's working with Puzzle Ultramel again. Say it, Billy.
Ultramel.
There it is. Clown, VPI, Xanthic, and Tri-Stripe. Look at this. We got Billy hawking stuff for guys now. Monsoon, Zebra, and Sunset as well. That's Trevor at Ball Labs. And last but not least is Chris at BNS Reptilia. I think Chris is coming to visit you soon, Billy. Maybe he didn't tell you that. I think around CRB or something. He's heading your way.
Oh, cool.
But
yeah, no, CRB. A lot of people are coming. That'd be awesome. I mean, it'd be awesome because I've been, myself and especially Austin. Austin's been wearing his shirt.
That's right. I've seen you. You know who he is. Yeah, I've seen
of course,
his shirt.
He's always there. And I mean, Chris, of course.
So Chris, and speaking of hatchlings, Chris just and speaking of different species, man, he's got stuff I don't know what it is, so I got to get it right. But it's BNS Reptilia because he carries so many different species. Obviously, ball pythons, blood pythons, locality boas, Pituophis. I learned that word from him. That's the bull snakes and the pine snakes. He will have those at the table with me at Tinley. Chris and I vend Tinley together. He'll have the bulls and the pines at the table, and it'll be legal. We have them like permitted, all that. You can't just walk into Tinley with those snakes. Okay, he says this is hot off the presses. He says bulls will be hatching in a few weeks. Get in touch with them if you're looking for bull snakes. And he just had a litter of Costa Rican boas. All right. So if those are your things, Chris is the guy. He's the original sponsor of Proper Royals. We're still in business years later. And like I said, my partner in business vending at Tinley. So if you don't know, that's Billy Rose right there. If you don't know that, you should. And I don't even mean that in a demeaning way. Go check it out. Mutation Creation, the man himself. Billy, I'm going to spring this on you. I got thinking earlier this afternoon that this would be fun. I think maybe it won't be. You're going to be like, this is not fun at all, Adam, but we'll see. Through some of my research, I know that you have a variety of businesses. You talk some about real estate. You talk obviously endlessly about snakes, Patreon, international business. Two questions I'll ask them both at the same time, and you can let rip as you're known to do. I've heard. If somebody had, and these are both one-time numbers, not recurring like monthly numbers. If somebody had $1,000 right now and said, I want to invest in something, whether it be myself, a thing, an animal, whatever, and I have $10,000, and another person says I have $10,000, same question. What would you recommend for them? And let's say they're young. Let's say they're 18 to 25.
Okay. So it's a one-time expense. Yeah.
It's not like they're going to have $1,000 a month for the next 10 years. Cause that's probably a different answer.
Okay. So first of all, with 1,000, you've got very limited range.
Right.
So, and I don't mean to disrespect anybody, but people will say, hey, I got $5,000 to $6,000. I really want to invest it and make a business out of it. It's not going to happen. Now you can get a hobby and turn it in and add some more and put some work in and hold stuff back. And eventually 5, 6, 7 years, you keep doing that over and over. You might be able to turn it into a business, but
this doesn't have to be snakes either. Could be anything.
Oh, anything. Okay.
Yeah. Anything. Me, they could, how would they spend the money in a productive way?
I'm going to say for me, it's always going to be investing in snakes or animals. Mm-hmm. Okay. The reason is because I get so much enjoyment of having them, looking at them, knowing that I can breed them and make what's incredible even better. Or, by doing something that no one else has, you might be able to make it worse. And then you got to go back to the drawing board and, do it over. And that's what makes it fun. But to me, if you know how to invest and when to invest, and you're not all over the place, and you do things properly, you can do very, very, very well. Like I say, if somebody comes to me with, say, I want to get into this and I want to invest in a nice group, and, I have, say, 10,000 and someone has 100,000, I would be doing them both an injustice if I gave them the same advice. Okay.
Right. There's two different situations.
And that's why one of the things with Patreon is I did it because everybody sort of is individual. And, what do you have already? I don't have anything, but I got 10 grand. Okay. How much do you have? Can you get some next year? Because if they don't have any more money, I'm going to tell them to get, spend 6,000 or 7,000 and get 3 females and some racking. And then, save that 3 or 4 grand extra to buy a male next year. There's no sense buying them now.
No.
Okay.
Right.
Now, and the other person who has, say, 100 grand, say, oh, I got 100 grand to invest. I've already got my racking and ultrasound and everything else. I've got this in the project. Cool. Now, this is what you need to add to that project and do this. And I work with them. Also, time, budget, space,
Yep.
what they already have. It all has to come to play in order for me to give a better, sort of, give guidance on it, because,
Yeah.
I can't give the same people the same advice, because someone has 10 grand and they want to get into, say, DG pied clown. Well, 10 grand, you might not even buy one animal. With 100K, you could buy maybe 7 or 8 and be in a really good spot. But I wouldn't tell them to invest the whole 100K in that one project. I'd probably break it down to 30 to 35 into 3 different projects. And, knowing if they can come up with 100K now, I'm sure next year you could probably come up with 20 or 30 more for your males. And, I work through the process of what they're capable of and what they want. I don't tell you what I want you to do with your money. I want you to tell me what your goals are, what you like, what the genes are. And I'm going to give you a reality like, hey, I want to do this. And in 5 years, I'm like, you know what, if you have 10 grand only and you have nothing and no experience and no equipment, no animals now, you are not going to turn this into a business in 3 to 5 years with a $10,000 investment today. It's just not going to happen, But if you have, 10,000 or 5,000 coming in every 2-3 months, and then you can start expanding and holding stuff back within 3 to 5 years, you can definitely be set up to now look at it like, hey, what do I need now to turn it over to a business? And depending what you have and where you're at, and where the market is, obviously, and what you're producing, that's when we sit there and say, okay, now I see what you've got. Now this is what you do. But to go from $10,000 today with nothing to business, and ain't going to happen. But 10,000 today, and you keep growing and holding stuff back, and in 3-4 years, now what do you have? I got this, and 20K. Well, hey, now this is what you do.
Right. How much, as crazy as it seems, there's a lot of people that are spending that kind of money, that 10, 20, 30,000. And guys, by the way, in the audience, if you have questions for Billy as well, we plan to stick around at least till 9:30 on the East Coast, but another, at least another 15, 20 minutes. So now's sort of the time if you guys want to come up with some questions. Billy, it's not a huge number of people, but there's a surprising number of people that are spending 10 to 100 grand. And I know that could take some people aback when they hear you say that. And they're like, it's a lot of money. How is what's the best way that people can stand out and differentiate themselves? Because let's be honest, it's not 5 years ago where a triple visual was the craziest Martian on the planet you've ever seen. They're out there. They're available now. You can get them.
Yeah. It's so hard because right now, there's so many people, in so many projects. Okay. Now you've got to take those projects and add your own little twist. And yes, if you add your own little twist, you're not going to be the only person doing it. There's going to be other people doing it. It's how you market yourself, where you want to go. Because I see people making amazing stuff, and instead of holding it back for future growth, they sell it. And it's like, wow, but I can make it again next year. Yeah, but if you hold it back in 2-3 years from now, you're going to be here instead of being a year behind. And, so, I think you need to build your brand, really concentrate and focus on what you want to do and create, stick with it, keep making it better, keep adding to it, growing your social medias, growing your network, learning continuously, and just sort of, keep moving forward and being happy at the same time. Like, so many people get into shit, because, like it's like, Billy, how come you're not into Sunset? How come you're not into Monarch? Fuck, there's so much money in that. Yeah, they're expensive, but I don't at this point want to work with it because I don't think it adds any value at this time to what I'm working on.
To you,
I'm doing hypo and ultramel. Holy fuck. If I took all the hypo and ultramel in my collection and swapped it for Monarch and Puzzle or Monarch and Sunset, holy fuck, you know, they're making $500,000 overnight. But it's not about that. I don't want to work with them. And what's great about that is, I don't know if I saw them earlier, but Leviathan, there's so many people, Nash Demorphs, there's so many people working with Sunset and Monarch. And guess what? If I'm in there and everybody's just going to buy shit because it's expensive, we're all fucking competing against each other.
That's right.
And, you know, I'm doing this and I'm working with Hypo, Ultramel, the low end of the pool, but I enjoy what it makes, and that's why I'm doing it. If I was doing everything for the money, I would be out of those projects and into the higher end shit. But I do what I like, and there's still a market for them. And you know, I'm turning those into triples and quads and quints.
Right.
And once you start seeing those combos, hey, yeah, you know.
Well, and they can all. It feels like in the past maybe 2 years, and I'm sure people like yourself saw it coming ahead of time, but it feels like the boundaries of where a project begins and where a project ends are just non-existent now with triple, quad, quints.
There's no end.
There's no end.
There's no end. And I've said this many times. You could work with clown, pied, and let's say, you know, we'll say DG.
There you go. Okay.
You just work with 3 recessive, DG, clown, and pied. And now you get all the codoms and incomplete doms or whatever you want to fucking throw at it, any other new genes. And then even down the road, add a 4th one.
Yep.
You will never be able to make every combination that's even humanly possible with those 3 recessives. It's impossible. It's infinite. It's crazy. And never mind having the odds against you in a lot of this shit, and holding stuff back, paying for the shed test, putting it back and hoping for the odds again. I mean, you know, never mind. Why aren't you into this? Because I can't even control these 3 or 4. Now I want to control 20. Like, you know what I mean? I don't want to just move everyone up a notch. I want to take a couple and fucking soar.
Yeah.
And I'm even making mistakes like that with some shit. Like, I'm like, why do I have this tri-stripe shit? It's nice. I love it, but I'm so far behind. Why am I still having it? Like, you know, I'm on a full speed, you know, car flying through the city. And then I got, you know, my you know, tri-stripe on a bicycle trying to catch up. It's never going to catch up to the car. I'm already in 5 cities. I'm halfway across the country and I'm just like getting to the stoplight, you know? And then I've got like rainbow and I've got so much stuff. I'm like, do I really want to take money and invest into these other things that raise them up? Or do I want to put it in to this other stuff that I love, that I'm strong in, to make it even stronger? It's always the latter.
Yeah.
You know, but I still got these stragglers around, and you know, and I tell
cool
people,
though. Yeah, they're neat things though.
They're neat, but it's like at the same time too, it's like, I mean, I'm making a lot of decisions and choices and stuff. I'm going to do a lot of revamp with MC and stuff, and moving forward in the next few months. You know, I have October 1st, so after our CRBE, you know, a lot of the things that are in my head and the decisions I'm going to be making are going to be implemented after that.
I see.
A whole new change. And
we'll be,
and I don't know if it's for the better or not, but it's going to happen. Right. And I'll deal with the consequences or reap the rewards regardless. Right.
I'm interested to see, because I know, well, first I know, I mean, I literally think that you're brilliant from just how much you look into everything and how much consideration you give. So I'm highly intrigued, and obviously I wish you the best on that.
Thank you.
I had, you just brought up a great point. Somebody said, you know, we overcomplicate things so much. And then somebody says something so simple that you go, can it be that simple? So his name is Dennis McNamara. He's a great breeder here in Virginia. I'm not in Virginia, but he lives in Virginia. He's been at it a long time. And we were having beers at a Tinley, and he goes, Adam, sometimes I wonder why I didn't just buy 25 pieds, 25 clown females, and 25 female DGs. And then every year buy the baddest het male combo I could for 5 years, and then not ever buy anything again and just start going.
That's all you need.
Just what you described.
But the reason why, is because there's great breeders out there, great marketers. Look at this new thing. Look what it does. Everyone's like, oh, and fucking throw money at it.
Right.
And then guess what? That comes down and there's a new shiny thing. Everyone offloads, jumps on the new bandwagon. I get it. It's like kids in a candy store. There's so much fucking options. It's all amazing. But I'll tell you one thing, big breeder or not, you cannot have everything. You cannot fulfill and take everything to those levels with the odds and, you know, getting into triples and quads even more, even with shed testing that will help, you know, take those odds and know what we're doing away and breeding the right stuff to the right stuff. It's still infinitive. There's just too much, man. It's too much.
Yeah.
Hey, Melinda.
That is Melinda. I saw her at Schaumburg this weekend as well.
Awesome.
Let's see. So we had Rick asked, and I think we sort of just covered it, but any further thoughts? Visual quad recessives, are those the new milestone, or multiple codom triple visual recessives? Which would you?
I would say both. Okay. So I don't have a quad yet. I have like six triple visuals. I've got some codom triple visuals. You know, no quad yet for me. But I'll tell you one thing, if you have a quad, I ain't going to complain. I would rather have a 3-gene quad, of course. But, you know, I would say, you know, it's almost equal. Would I have a 2-3-gene double recessive or just a triple recessive? It's almost the same, but it depends on what genes are in that double and where you can take it. And then you also got to look that there's some amazing stuff like spot nose clown shit is like next level.
It's still amazing, right?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Now put that into your pied shit. Oh, you can't do pied, you know, and you can't do this. Like now you take some amazing thing that you've built and these incredible animals, and you can't even put that to pied because spot nose pieds are white. You can't put it into, you know, special clown stuff's amazing. But you put special into pied, it loses all the pattern. You get just the
weird head.
There's a lot of shit you've got to watch. And I've got a 5-gene pied. Yeah, but it's special spot nose fucking champagne. Great. It's all fucking white. I don't give a fuck if you have 10 genes. It's a white fucking pied. It's not the number of genes, it's the quality of the genes. So, you know, depending on the 2-gene or 3-gene double recessive, that could be as powerful as a quad, you know. Right. And if you have a quad and you don't have the females for it, now you're breeding it to animals, holding the stuff back. I mean, chasing the odds. You know, you might be 7 to 10 years to hit that fucking quad again with a combo. Having a quad recessive, it's
you're right.
Not easy.
Yeah, if you only have one, it doesn't take $1 million to get a quad. It takes $2 million because you got to get the partner for it.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
So sometimes a double recessive with a bunch of other genes going to like triple hets or stuff or visuals and making stuff, it's an easier stepping stone to make doubles and triples. And then you can actually take, like, the best way to get a quad, which I'm hitting this year. Okay, I've got double visual, double hets.
Right.
The double visual, double hets the same. I'm 1 in 16 to hit a quad.
Yeah, they're offsetting them each other, right? So like a visual.
No. So say clown pied.
Yeah.
Okay. Double het ultimo hypo.
Okay.
The clown pied, double het ultimo. Everything's clown pied, and 1 in 16 to hit the quad.
But then. Okay, and that's true. But then the trade-off, though, is then everything is 66% het for those other 2 genes, right?
Correct, but we can ultrasound. I mean, we can shed test.
Oh, yeah, you definitely could shed test.
But to be 1 in 16 to hit a quad,
that's
or
true.
The way you do it, okay, you're 1 in 64 to hit a quad. But when you miss, everything's 100% het of everything.
There you go. That's right.
So you see the difference?
You're trading in and trading off on.
Correct.
What there's always that trade-off.
But I'll tell you one thing, if you're already in that project and got all these females and stuff like that, I would trade off 1 in 16 to hit a quad, because once I get that quad and it being a male, holy shit, the damage I can do in the next 2 to 3 years with all the shit I held back. And I've already, it's next level.
And I'm sorry, the other part of it, I usually make that argument when people are talking like triple het to triple het. I'm like, that's foolish. And then you got nothing but 66%.
100%.
Okay. But what you just described, even your worst case scenario is still a double visual.
100, everyone's 100% a double visual.
And so you're still going to get paid on the 15.
You're 1 in 8 to hit a triple, and you're 1 in 16 to hit a quad.
Yeah. So that's way better. Yeah.
You know, you can shed test.
Yeah. Yeah. That part is the
next
part
level.
Where, yeah.
But yes, quad het the quad het, man, you're fucking like, you're praying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, triple het, the same thing. And it's crazy.
I don't shame anybody's God, but even God's going, man, stop praying. Go do something else than the quad to quad. Okay, what else we got here? Morforge asks, and this is obviously a very deep question, but if there's a quick answer, I'd like to hear Billy's one key goal for getting ahead in their brand. IG, YouTube, shows. Where do you find? Let's say, where do you find the most return for your time investment on those?
Virtually, you know, Instagram, YouTube, as you know, is a different animal. Yeah, it's not the same. Time. You know, it's a lot of work. You don't get that satisfaction. You don't get a lot of likes. You don't get a lot of comments. You know, I mean, I have, you know, 1,000 people watch my, you know, my channel, my content, but I'll have like, you know, 87 likes. What the fuck? I got 1,000 people. Wow. You know, oh my God, man, like no one likes me. Like it's not the same where you make a post on Instagram of a snake, you know, 40 comments, you know, 5 shares, people sharing it, like, it's wow. It's great. It gives you motivation, right? It's like, wow. And you didn't really do much. You got to work your ass off and do well on YouTube. So Instagram for social. And then, you know, you build your confidence and how you do that. And then you slowly get into the others if you have time. But, you know, shows, being a part of the community, being a part of lives, being in the in the chats, being at the expos and having, you know, your face behind the brand, lets people see your animals. You get to meet and greet people, you know, you get that interaction. I think that is key. Even if you're just starting out, because a lot of people think that, oh, you know, until I make amazing stuff, then I'll do a show. And then you make amazing stuff and you go to a show, you have no experience. Yeah. It looks like a fucking half-assed, like, you know, it's like, wow, this guy makes amazing shit. And look at his fucking, what's this ghetto setup? You know, you want to go and you want to learn, you know, everyone's done it. I mean, I did expos for, I'm going to say 9 years before I got lights. But the lights that I got were the best ones on the planet. Were JSA lighting, the lighting guys. I didn't want those things where people would go get the, you know, like these things, like the clamp on and had the
boom arms. That's the,
you know, after a while you got to keep going up and they got elastics or tape on and it looks so ghetto and it's like burning one snake and the other snakes there's like shadows and I wasn't going to do the ghetto setup, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I waited. But you know, you want to get that experience. You want to know that, hey, these are for me. You know, you don't want to go out and spend all this money on an amazing display gold and go, I fucking hate these things. I don't want to do these. My feet hurt. I hate doing these. But now you just invest it all. Learn to do it and say, if I want to, I keep investing. And every year I change, add something new, change it up, add more things, you know, so you're different. And here I am changing things up and I don't even really want to do them anymore. Right. So, you know, so you just got to find out. And there's people that don't do shows that are fucking successful.
Yeah.
Or they do the odd show just for marketing and being out there. You know, you don't have to have YouTube. You don't have to do shows. You need to have a good marketing or a good brand. You've got to have, you know, a good following. You've got to post and make amazing stuff. Keep your customers happy. Keep your snakes even happier, and yourself as well. And don't be a piece of shit. I don't know if you're allowed to swear on here, but don't be a piece of shit. Be nice to people. You know, don't fuck people over.
It's in the 93rd minute, Billy checks in. Wait, how's the swearing situation?
Yeah. Just, you know,
it's wonderful, Billy. No, it's awesome.
No, but it's a thing, right? It's like,
you're right.
You know, don't screw people over for monetary value. And if you do that, you like you've seen people, I'm not going to get into it, but you've seen people
Right.
spend a lot of money and have fucking incredible fucking animals. They also have a credible crew of people that they were, that they belonged with and worked with. And one piece of shit move, threw it all away. And guess
right?
what? It's not cool.
No.
And you know, you could have the most money, you could be the nicest person, you treat your animals like shit, you're not going to go anywhere. You treat your customers like shit, you're not going to go anywhere. You treat them both like shit, you're just a piece of shit, and it's not cool. You need to do the best you can for your animals, for your customers, for your business. And I'm very vocal, but I mean, I don't think I hurt my brand at all. I'm telling people what I think, what I believe, and
right.
If you don't believe or want to invest in me or support me, hey, that's cool. And like I said when we're off the show, no matter how amazing you are, people will still hate you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ was on earth and people fucking hated him, and he was the son of God. No one on this fucking planet can keep everybody happy. You're going to have haters or fuck. That's just reality, folks. So, the only person that I really want to please and be happy is me. And if other people around me want to come and be happy for me and support me, great. I don't do this shit for likes. I don't do this shit for money. I do it for me. And now I make money from it to reinvest and buy more shit and enjoy it even more.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I don't care if everybody, I don't like the way Billy does, I'm not going to watch his YouTube. Then fucking don't. You know what? I don't make money off of YouTube. I make money off of breeding snakes that I love.
I was going to say, yeah, there's the big lie that
hardly
everybody
any
needs
of my live streams get. Oh, and I hope you can bleep this out so that you can actually get monetized on this if that's your thing, because I swear.
That's yeah. I'm good. I just have to declare it. There's a little checkbox. I could declare that.
Is there? I don't even know. I mean,
but
it is what it is. But people have to really, and stop chasing other people's dreams. Make your own. Like, stop jumping in and off the boat and off the bandwagon, and you got to be creative and you got to sort of believe in yourself and have some sort of creativity. And not just do what everyone else is doing. Because if you do that, I can guarantee you're never going to catch up. You're always going to be behind.
You'll always be behind.
Yep. Always.
I think that's even life too. Like how
100%. Yeah. Very good point.
Yeah. And I remember, and I won't get too much into it, but I remember a very specific moment in my life where I just said, I really don't give a shit anymore. I'm just going to do me. And I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to figure out how to make other people happy, and I'm going to work hard at that. And it was the freeingest thing. I can wear jeans and a t-shirt and flip-flops and not worry about what brand. I drive my pickup truck that's paid for, that I don't have a car payment on.
Yep.
I can, and it's so nice. Hey, you bought a Mustang? I'm happy for you. Drive your Mustang.
Yeah. Everyone has their own space or their own place where they want to be at a certain risk or a certain price tag. I mean, I go and do stuff where it's like, why the fuck am I doing this? Well, it's the best, might as well. But it's like, well, you could do this and save so much. Yeah, I could, but you know what? Too late. Let's just do it. And once you get to that thing, it's like, I've never gone wrong buying the best, And no, I wouldn't say that, not in every case, especially with clothing, but I'm talking about manufactured good, racking, incubator, ultrasound, even with animals, right? You buy good powerhouse genetics that are, I've never gone wrong with those, but it comes with a price tag. But guess what? Yeah. I'm okay with that. But, not everybody will be. You will grow into that. I remember buying my first 3-4,000. I'm like, what am I buying this 3-4,000? What happens if it doesn't breed? What happens if it's sick? What happens if it's not a male? I mean, or it's not a female? Because back then I didn't know how to probe. I didn't know how to pop and do that. And back in the day, it was just there was no information on YouTube. You couldn't type in how to breed ball pythons. You couldn't do any of that shit. There was none. There was no social media. There was no Instagram. it was nuts. We didn't even have phones in our cameras in our goddamn phones.
Yeah.
You know? It was nuts. We had to go and talk on a fucking phone connected to the wall. And if you had some money, you actually had a cordless. Oh my God, cool. But you couldn't talk too long because the battery would die.
The battery would die. That's right.
You know? But yeah, I mean, it was a lot has changed. So.
Well, Billy, I want to tell you thank you for being on the show. I want to tell you thanks for all your time and your insight. I firmly believe that after an hour and a half, if we still have more to cover, which we do, we got to do it again another time. We got to do it again.
Good, you know.
I've
been, you know, I'm a fan. I've always watched. I think,
thank you.
You know, you always have great topics. You have a very great demeanor. You know, you should have been like, you got that, you know what you remind me of? Like a radio jockey.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, you always bring up key points and, hey, you know what? You got a very good, you know, you could be, and you're an awesome host.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And I read, it was a timely thing. I read it this morning, and it was one of these, like, you know, internet senseis or whatever, but he says, you know, show up, give a damn, and do what you say you're going to do. And you're going to be ahead of 99% of the people. And you know, I made 5 notes on here, and that was our show tonight, but at least I knew what we were going to talk about, and I wasn't going to have dead air. And
but the thing is with me, you never have dead air. You just say, hey, Billy, what are your thoughts on this? And you can't shut me up. So it's easy, you know. If you ever want to start a podcast and you don't know fucking how to do anything, just bring me on and I'll just fucking yap for 2 hours. And, you know, that's all you need to do. You know, it's crazy, but no, I appreciate you having me on, and, you know, hopefully it was insightful, and,
it was,
you know,
it was.
And like I said, I mean, I'm still learning, I'm still changing. You know, I want to do better for myself. I'm continually changing, even though I think I got a pretty good grasp at this. I want to do things better, learn more, try different things, and made mistakes. I'm switching them up and trying, and, you know, this new thing moving forward, depending how it plays out, we'll see where it takes me. Right.
I want to see what it is.
Whole new thing, man.
Well, Billy, thank you so much. Thanks for Husbandry Pro. We talked a little bit behind the scenes. We didn't even get to the website tonight. Check out properroyals.com.
Mine's coming. Mine's coming. Mine's in the works too.
It's the only thing in life
Husbandry Pro.
It's the only one I'm ever gonna have in life where I'm like, I was the one before Billy. Like, it's my little trinket.
There you go. You know, and you know, basically, you know, here's how it is. I don't know if you know this, but Robert's like, hey, you know, I'm going to do this and we're going to do website. And I'm like, fuck no, I don't want to be the guinea pig. Get some other idiot to do it first. Guess what you are? No, I'm just joking. That never happened. But no, after I heard about this, I'm like, really? I'm like, dude, I could use a revamp, because mutationcreation.com hasn't been touched since 2016.
Oh no.
I haven't done any picture changes except changing the, you know, adding some of the new merch, you know, adding Husbandry Pro where you can hit available animals, and also changing the pictures of the new facility compared to the old facility. Nothing's changed, man. So I need a new revamping, and seeing what they did with yours. And I'm very impressed. Like I said, I think it's awesome. And I'm excited to see, you know, my website being powered by Husbandry Pro and using Husbandry Pro. And there's a lot of new things that I'm doing behind the scenes for Husbandry Pro with my own stuff. And I'm really excited about, you know, really taking it to another level and using it for everything. Yeah,
there's some cool new announcements coming with that I'm sworn to, like,
Me
they'll
too.
crash my, if I speak, they'll crash my website. So there we go.
I probably have more knowledge about the stuff that you know. Whatever you know, times it by 5.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you're the guy. I know you know.
I'm so happy. And, you know, I'm so blessed to have an awesome partner like Robert, and our devs are like second to none, and the way he's run it, and you know, the community to support it, as well as put the changes in. And it's as good as it is right now because of the users and their feedback, and their can we do this and can we do that? And, you know, we've always wanted it to be a community app, and I think we've nailed it. I mean, I think we really have since day one.
I think so too. I think people should check it out. There's tons of codes out there. I actually, mine is, it's PRoyals60 if you want to check it out. But use anybody's code, guys. Just go check out Husbandry Pro. It's worth it. Billy, we could yap all night. I got to kick you out of here. I got to go be a dad and a husband for a little bit. I will take it all the way back to the very beginning of the show. Thanks for what you've always done for the industry. Thanks for being the inspiration for me and a whole lot of other people. Say hey to Austin because he was a big part of that.
Cool. Yeah, definitely will.
My son and I used to watch you and him do the egg races during the pandemic, keeping score. And I'm
so sick of that. I think I was the one that started. Let's do the race. Cool. And I'm the loser every year.
But you know what, though? Hey, here's a moment for you. It was a special moment in the pandemic where my son and I would just watch the episodes together and think about what we could do with ball pythons. So
awesome.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Appreciate
All right.
that. Bye,
thanks
everyone.
so much. Audience, thanks so much. See you guys.